antenna design. Dr. Dinesh Sharma sir published many quality papers in wireless communications and antenna design. Presently, he is serving as assistant professor in Chandigarh College of Engineering and Technology. Coming to his professional society memberships, he is a member of IEEE, he is a life member of IETE New Delhi, he is also a member of Universal Association of Computers and Electronic Engineers. He is a member of IAENG. He is also a member of World Association for Scientific Research and Technical Innovations. He is a senior member of International Society of Research and Development, ISRD. Coming to the publications, he published 4 books. On his name, he had 8 patents and 28 international conferences, 14 national conferences, and 26 national journals. Thank you, sir. It's really my pleasure to introduce you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Pratima, madam. Okay. Dinesh, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ponia ma'am, and thank you, Pratima ma'am, for giving me this opportunity and to share my views about today's topic. And
sir,
please,
over to you, sir. Now you can start the session.
May I start the session, ma'am? Can you please guide me how to share the screen? Can I share the screen?
Yes, sir. Okay.
To share your screen, ask the organizer to make you presenter.
Now you can share, sir.
Okay. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You're audible and your screen is also visible.
Okay. First of all, good morning to all. And as Pradyumna ma'am introduced myself, I'm here to present metamaterial based antenna design for biomedical applications. This is the content what I'm going to cover today: classification of materials, then introduction of metamaterial, applications of metamaterial, advantages and limitations of metamaterial, and in last, conclusion. In between that, in applications of metamaterial, we are going to focus little bit practical session also with the help of HFSS software that I will introduce you. First, materials and its classification. First of all, what do you mean by material? You know, material is a substance which can be converted into your useful things. It may be, that depends, there are so many classifications are there, but here our focus will be not on that classification. Our focus will be on classification of material on the basis of permeability and permittivity, because our focus will be on metamaterial. That's why to introduce metamaterial, first of all you must know permeability and permittivity. Permittivity is the property of a material or a substance which has the capability to store electric field, And permeability is the property of a material which has the property or which can store the energy in the form of magnetic field, which gives the capability of that particular substance or material. On the basis of that one, permeability and permittivity, you can see 4 sections are there, or 4 quadrants are there: 1, 2, 3, and 4. First quadrant is your when permeability and permittivity both are positive. When both are going to be positive, this is, in general cases, all materials or all dielectrics, whatever is there, those belongs to this first quadrant of the classification. Here your permeability and permittivity both are going to be positive or greater than 0. Next classification is when your permittivity is less than 0 and permeability is greater than 0. It is your next quadrant or second quadrant of that, and in that one your plasma wire structures are belongs to this category. And if you will go for fourth quadrant when epsilon naught or your permittivity is greater than 0 or permittivity is less than 0, that is your all ferrite structures belongs to this category. And our focus will be on third quadrant, and this is when permittivity and permeability both are going to be negative here. The important thing is, if you will see quadrant 2 and quadrant 3, in coming slides I will show you mathematically also. In quadrant 2 and quadrant 4, there is no transmission is possible. Transmission is not possible in that one, because if you will find, I will show you mathematically so that you can understand better way. And in third quadrant is your left-handed materials, or today's topic or today's focus, that is your permittivity and permeability both are going to be negative. This is your first quadrant story. Here both permittivity and permeability greater than 0 will designated as, we can call those are double positive mediums, and most naturally occurred all dielectrics belongs to this category. Whatever dielectric we are using for designing of your antenna, those all materials belongs to this category. Next is your ENG material. This is, I am talking about second quadrant. A medium with permeability less than 0 and permeability greater than 0 will designated as a Ellipsian negative medium materials, and all noble metals like silver, gold, those belongs to particularly this category of the material. And the refractive index is imaginary for all this type of material. Refractive index is imaginary means it is going to be with negative sign, because here permittivity is less than 0, and because of this negative sign it becomes imaginary, and because of this there is no transmission possible in this category. To prove or to show its negative behavior, a team of D.R. Smith have proposed this structure. It's a capacitor, and if you will find its equivalent, then it will be your inductor. And he designed this resonating circuit, and he found the real part of permittivity, and he showed the imaginary part of real part of permittivity and permittivity, and he showed your epsilon belongs to negative in this area. This is he showed with the help of experimental studies. Next is your MNG materials. MNG materials, I'm talking about fourth quadrant, a medium with the permittivity greater than 0 and permittivity less than 0. It designated as ME negative materials. Gyrotropic or gyromagnetic materials exhibit this property. The refractive index is imaginary. Because the refractive index is imaginary, it means it's there is no transmission possible. Imaginary, it will not allow for any transmission. And this is your, he showed with the double ring structure. Actually, it is same like just like Smith showed. And this is Professor Penbear also showed. This is double ring structure. He resonated and he showed your permeability here. It shows negative behavior. Experimentally, he showed. In 2006, I think, if I'm not wrong, in 2006 he showed. Next is your DNG materials. DNG material is with both permittivity and permeability, both are going to be negative. As the name applies, see, in some literature you will find left-handed media, in some literature you will find backward wave media, in some literature you will find media with negative refractive index. All this story you will find, and behind all these names there is a mathematical expression. Why we used to call left-handed material, why we used to call double negative materials. Actually here double negative material means permittivity and permeability both are going to be negative. That's why it is called double negative material. And left-handed material, that I will mathematically I will show you how it is a left-handed material or why we used to call it left-handed material. This is our today's focus, metamaterial. If you will go in details, you will not find any particular definition of metamaterial. Because every researcher or so many researchers, they gave their own definition of metamaterial. Because metamaterial is not a material, you can say. It is just to save you more understanding. You can take physics. What is physics? In physics, so many branches are there, so many things we are going to study. In similar way, metamaterial is something like physics. It is not a single material. So many characteristics, so many advantages are there. So it's not like just a word, it's a sentence, you can say. It's a complete topic, you can, or more specifically, it's not a single topic, it's a complete topic. Then the question rises, what is metamaterial? So you can say materials that are engineered. What do you mean by engineered? Engineered means what we are going to do, we are going to touch the properties of that particular material. Properties of that particular material. I think some disturbance is there, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah. Now it's okay. Materials that can be engineered at particle level. We are talking about at particle level. And metamaterial is not going to found in nature. Then some people, they may have questioned that iron is also not going to find even, but iron core or aluminum core we will going to find in nature. But metamaterial is not like that. Even you are not able to find its cores also. It's something different. And as we are talking, it's a not like single property we are going to change, even though we are going to change multiple properties at a time for our desired application. Or more specifically, you can say it's a tailor-made behavior of that particular material. And the tailor-made behavior is in hand of engineer. So if we will combine, then what we can say, materials that can be engineered are called your meta materials. Or in some literature you may find meta material. Meta means it's a Greek word, something beyond or altered or changed. So properties at particle level we are going to touch in meta material. At particle level. So universally how we can define, I've shown you properties derived from their physical structure, not their chemistry. Exhibited properties not observed in nature. If you will try to find out something in nature, it will not found. Exhibit properties not observed in their constituent materials. If you will mix something, it will not, you are unable to find out. So composite material that is purposely engineered, I am using again and again this word, purposely engineered to provide material property that are not otherwise attainable with ordinary property. That is called your meta material. Okay, to make you, I think, better understanding, let's take an example. Have you seen the butterfly? When butterfly starts flying, its color of the wings is going to change. Sometimes you may find blue, sometimes it may be greenish shade, sometimes it may be gray shade, like that you will find. Why it is so?
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
please.
Sir,
Yes,
is that in
please.
introduction to sir, is that introduction to metamaterial slide only we are looking, sir? But you are explaining
In
some
that
sort of
slide only
colors
I'm
like
talking, sir. I'm talking
in that slide only, sir.
slide only. Yeah.
But we don't see colors. You are explaining some colors like. Okay, fine, sir. Okay.
That I'm giving one example, sir, to make you
Okay,
better
okay.
understand.
Ah, right, sir.
Take an example of your butterfly. When butterfly will start flying, it's the color of the wings is going to change. I'm just whatever I've shown in slide, that is you will find in literature. But whatever examples I'm giving, it is just like something I try to find out so many things that I'm sharing with you. That may not be on slide, but please, if you will focus whatever I'm delivering, then definitely it is going to be very easy for you. Then what will happen when it changes? Have you think why it is changing the color of that particular wing? It's the best example of meta material. It's nothing but it is due to, in butterfly wing we have a color maze or light maze, you can say, in butterfly wing, and because of that light maze, it helped to give different projections on that wings, and because of this different projection, the color of that particular wing is going to change. It's just a best example of meta material. It is just like the color of gold is yellow. If we made something in such a way that we made that particular gold color or that particular ornament into green, it is that type of material. We are going to change the whole, and how we are changing that I will let you know. That's why in beginning I told it's not a single topic, it's a group of topics. So many things are happening, or you can say so many burning field or research field are there in metamaterial. Even the people who belongs to optics, they are also working with metamaterial. The people who start working on antenna, they are also working on metamaterial. So many things, even in communications, so many places are there where we are using metamaterial. Just please have a look in this. If I can play, I will check it out whether I am playing or not. Voice and all that is not important. Please focus what I want to show you. It's a 3 minutes video. You just see what we are doing and exactly what is metamaterial. I don't know how to come out this actually. 1 minute, please. This is what we, I think with the help of this video, the basic thing behind the MetaMetal, I think it's very easy to understand. Take one another example. Let's take an example of steel. If I have a steel rod, long steel rod, and I want to make it in two pieces. Then I start bending. If I will start bending again and again in two opposite directions, to and fro position, then it will break into two. But can I make its property in such a way that I can bend this at any position and at any number of times, but it will not break? But with steel, it is not possible. Yes, we can do. We can do, but what we have to do, we have to go for engineering of that steel at structure level. If we will make the things at structure level possible, then it is possible. There are so many examples you will find in day-to-day, even in day-to-day life also, but we are not aware exactly what we are doing. We are touching that particular material property at its particle level or structure level we are touching. Next is your relative permittivity. I think you are aware about this one. It's nothing but it's a capacitance ratio of dielectric to the medium, and relative permeability also. I think this concept is also known to you. Now, I think you are aware about these two equations, Maxwell's equations. And when we will go for its negative, if I will shift its negative, you can say your H is going to be negative. Negative indicates it in the opposite direction. Here both the equations are going to change like this, and it is nothing but if you will try to find out its direction. I think if you remember that basic level, you are going to use right hand system rule, but if you will find out the direction, it is going to be opposite. That's why with the help of left-handed system, and because of this left-handed, it is called your left-handed materials. This is a D.R. Smith had proposed as in introduction part of that particular MetaMetal. I told it's a two ring structure, and he proved, and exactly what we are doing, we are going to do. If you remember, two ring structure and a single wire structure. Two ring structure and single wire structure, they proved negative permittivity, and wire structure they proved negative permeability. And after combining this, see, after combining both, this is nothing but your MetaMetals. I tried to show you it's a 3D image also. This was done by D.R. Smith. He proposed this. They have MetaMetal have negative refractive index property, and when they proved that because of this negative refractive index, it's very good to have right or correct projection of that particular image. And he proved also, and one more important thing with the left-handed material is it shows reverse Doppler effect or Doppler shift. What is Doppler shift or Doppler effect? When some source of energy moving away from that energy is going to be decreasing, and when it is coming towards that, the energy is going to increase. But in left-handed material, the behavior of the Doppler shift is reverse, and it's really very good. I will let you know. This is now advantages of metamaterial. Or before going to advantage, let's have a look why we need exactly. Why we need, then we will discuss. That part is not on slide. Why we need metamaterials, or why unnecessarily we are trying to touch, or we are trying to disturb the properties of the some existing material. For example, let's take an example. Transistor. We can't make transistor of 1 nanometer speed with the help of your silicon based material. Why it is so? Because if this will happen, your electron will start jumping by their own. And transistor, even though if you are not applying anything, transistor starts working. So what is happening? We are limited by a material. We want something beyond that, but because we are not having that particular material, we are limiting them. So to make our limit limitless, we are going towards the metamaterial. And the second reason, you can say, we need more control on properties of that particular material. And if you have more control on properties of that particular material, what will happen? You can go for design improvements. If you have control on properties, you can go for different designs, because the whole properties of that particular material is in your hand. And if you can go for different design possibilities, then indirectly what you are doing, we are trying to achieve impossible properties. Whatever properties was there initially, that particular material, that for that particular material, that property was impossible, but with the help of metamaterial, or with the help of its improvements in design possibility, we can touch that impossible property also. For example, tungsten, you can see. Tungsten, it can withstand up to 3000 degrees Celsius, if I'm not wrong. Can we imagine a material which can go up to 6000? If I will ask somebody, please give an example of a material which can exist up to 6000 degrees Celsius. Then they will, sir, what you have did? Tungsten is the material which is going to withstand, or which is going to be its property up to 3000 degrees Celsius, not more than that. Then how we can imagine a 6000 up to 6000 degrees Celsius? Yes, it is possible. Then somebody may have answered that with the help of alloy it is possible. But I'm sorry to say, with the help, if you will go for alloy, your temperature, that individual temperature, metal temperature is going to reduce. It is not going to increase. So don't get confused with metamaterial with alloy. Alloy is something different. Or you can say alloy is ABC, and metamaterial is just like writing a complete book. Now you can imagine what we are exactly doing in metamaterial. Yes, with the help of metamaterial, we can go for a metal or some material which has the property to withstand up to 6000 degrees Celsius also. Yes, it is possible. But what we need to do, we need to work at its particle level or structure level. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, it is not possible. Now, your advantages of metamaterial. Perfect imaging and super lens. This is just now we discussed. It will give perfect image. If you remember lenses, initially in older days the lenses are that much big, but if you go for metamaterial based lenses, it's just like thickness of your paper, or you can imagine a paper itself. It has that much property that it can precisely shows you that particular image. To make you better understanding, you can see in ordinary lens and with metamaterial lens, or you can say how it is difference. You can see on this figure I showed. In that figure, you can see the difference. Another very good advantage of metamaterial is clocking and invisibility. I think everybody is aware about invisibility and submarines which are invisible in water, or even you can say the radar are not going to track those, or sonar is not going to track those. This is also very good property of metamaterial, because what will happen if you will see here, if this wavefront is going, there is some object, if some wavefront is going through this, then if you will see from here to here, from here to here, your wavefront will move small distance as compared to the wavefront or the particle which move from this object side. But after some distance, even it's a very small distance, your wavefront, all the particles which are used, which are going to make this wavefront, they have same speed, and it seems to be nothing is there in that path. This technology we are trying for defense purpose, for your submarines or fighter planes. This is another very good advantage of your metamaterial. Phase compensation. If you will, it will go. If your wave will move from positive refractive index to negative refractive index, it will give 180 phase difference, and when it will go from negative to positive, again it will give 180, and overall the phase difference it will going to give 360. This is also possible with the help of simple lenses and all concept also, but with the help of only paper size thickness is possible with the help of metamaterial. This is another, I think, if the people who are working in antenna design, we are reducing the size with the help of metamaterial. Whatever properties we are getting by using some other materials, and if you will use instead of that material, if you will use metamaterial, then the size of reduction is also possible. And there are some examples which I tried to show how anyhow some losses are there in metamaterial that I am not discussing here. Some losses are there in that particular one, but we can overcome those losses by giving some suitable shapes. And you will find in your open literature just like this. This is an X-type shape. You can reduce the losses with the help of this shape. This is another one, metamaterial as a biomedical applications. And in biomedical applications, I think you are aware, biomedical, it's just like wireless body array network I'm talking about. For this, I'm requesting my colleague Vinod. He will continue from here. Then immediately I will join after a couple of slides. Vinod is there? Vinod?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please, Vinod. Please continue from here. This part gives you some ideas how we are using metamaterial applications or metamaterial in designing of your antenna, and we are trying to show you some designs also in HFS. Please continue.
Yes, sir. Can I share the screen, sir? Sir? Sir, can I share? Sir, this is the convert.
Can you please change it to slideshow?
Yes, ma'am.
The display will become large if you go to slideshow.
Uh,
Thank
Ma'am,
you.
in the present research, I am Vinod Kumar, ma'am. In the present research oriented, metamaterial plays a huge role in the present development, and this is one of the paper which I have designed by my author. So in this paper, the author had been designed by using a gel substrate. This is the antenna which is useful for the figure A shows the dual substrate, which is on the first substrate he used it to design a line feeding technique, and in the second substrate he used it to design a H-shape slots, but he used it to place in between the two substrates using a foam as a layer. So in order to increase the substrate thickness, he used it to place a foam layer, whereas in the figure 3 he used it to place a muscle or a bone as a material which is used to check the body temperatures. Here I am giving the skin and fat and muscle bone as a dielectric constant, which we can check for the results. So these are the results in this paper, in which we have obtained minus 35 dB as a return loss, whereas 50 megahertz as a bandwidth. So in this, for this design antenna, we have obtained 3 dB of gain and minus 17 dB of front to back ratio. So these are the design for the H fabricated results, in which we have obtained 0.187 SAR application for the 1 mm distance. For the 2 mm distance, we have obtained 0.158 watt per kg for the 2 mm distance, and we have obtained a least SAR value which is 0.089. Whereas the second antenna which I want to show in this HFSS software, ma'am, are you visible, ma'am? So in this from this design, I want to conclude is I want to show is the difference between the meta surface and the other antenna. Here the main motor behind the meta surface or the meta material is to increase the gain or the bandwidth for the designed antenna. Here I am taking a simple, due to the time constraint, I am not explaining the in-depth of the design. Here I am taking a simple line feeding technique by using a rectangular patch. For this design antenna, I have taken 1.9 centimeters as a substrate thickness, which is shown in the screen as a dimensions, and the height of the substrate is 0.15748 centimeters. For this design antenna, I have obtained so the return loss is minus 25 dB as a maximum return loss, and with a gain of 10 dB, 10 gigahertz of a gain. For this design antenna, I have obtained 4.1 dB of gain. For this normal line wave feed, for the normal line feeding with a rectangular patch, whereas the same antenna had been designed by extending with a 1/4 array MIMO. In this, I have been extended with a substrate with 1.9 centimeters into 4 times, just by duplicating this antenna. For this design antenna, I have obtained the bandwidth of a huge bandwidth which is of the range from 17.39 gigahertz to 8.3 gigahertz, and which is of the bandwidth of 8 gigahertz, whereas second band which I have obtained from 23 gigahertz to 30 gigahertz, which is of the range is 7 gigahertz. So again the gain of a designed antenna for this antenna is 5.8 dB. So because of increasing the substrate width, I have got a 5.8 dB of gain, which has been increased from 4.1 to 5.8. So whereas the third design, I have just implemented the increasing the elements of each substrate as a mushroom type of structure. Mushroom type of structure. In this, the gap in between the two substrates is 0.2 mm, which is shown in the screen. So for this design antenna, we have obtained 3 dB of 3 gigahertz of a bandwidth, and whereas from 19.81 to 14.42 gigahertz of a bandwidth. Whereas for this design antenna, due to the number of elements of the design antenna had been increased, we have got 7.2 dB of a gain for the design antenna. But here in the case of normal without metal surface, for all these cases, I am increasing the substrate length from 1.9 centimeters to 10 centimeters, so that the gain and the bandwidth had been gradually increasing, and the efficiency are also increasing. About we have obtained 80 percentage of efficiency, where we can see that the efficiency from this project manager by right click on infinite sphere, and while going for the compute antenna parameters. From this we can show that the radiation efficiency for this design antenna is 83%. Whereas the fourth design, which we have used to as the same mushroom type of structure in this 8 by 1 MIMO type, for this design antenna is we have obtained the bandwidth of design antenna is 8 gigahertz of bandwidth, and the gain of this design antenna is 3.9 dB of gain. From overall this, by using without metal surface from the normal designs, we can obtain a maximum of 10 gigahertz of a bandwidth, whereas by using a metal surface, we can obtain a better bandwidth and a better gain. So it is absolutely possible by using a metal surface, for which I will show in the next, for this. So this is a design by using a Flecket port. Actually, the designing of a metal surface can only possible by using a Flecket port. So some of them are asking. So generally, for the designing of a metal surface, we usually take care by implementing the using a normal rectangular patch. In this, we have just cut the slot as shown in the PPT. Just we have cut the rectangular slot on the patch, which is of the length from 2 mm with a 6 mm. Just after etching this slot which is on the patch, as shown in the figure, we have obtained a different result, which is of 3 to 4 gigahertz of a bandwidth. And later we have implemented with and later we have connected the strips to the etched slot on which is on the patch. By the length of each slot is 0.1 centimeter with a 19.1 0.1 mm with a 19.1 mm as a length. So here I use it to place the gap in between the two slots. It should be less than 0.1 mm, because the design antenna must be satisfied that metamaterial property. I mean, metamaterial property means it should be obey the permittivity and permeability of the designed antenna. So so in order to achieve the permeability which is less than 0, just I am using strips with a gap in between two gaps is 0.1 mm. And for this design antenna, uh, and also for the normal design antenna, we are used to take generally as a radiation box. But for this flucket port, we should not take the radiation box. But I will explain you how to construct the flucket port. So this is a simply designed antenna by using a normal rectangular feeding, just in order to create a in order to give the excitation by using a flucket port. I am just copy the substrate and I am going to paste the substrate. I am changing the material from FR4 epoxy to vacuum for the radiation box, and I am giving the length for this substrate is 10 mm. So this is the box which we are going to assigning the flucket port. For in general, by using a line feeding or a I mean in general in a waveguide port or else lumped port, generally we will give the radiation box. But whereas in the flucket port, we should create a box in such a way that we should assign the master slave boundaries. Actually, for the box we should have 6 faces. For 4 faces we should assign a flucket master slave boundary. Just I am going to give master slave. On the keyboard, press F in order to select the face of each face which is on the substrate. But right click on the substrate, go to assign boundary and master. Here, after going to the assign, just we can obtain a U vector. By selecting the new vector, we can obtain this and put the mark where we are going to assign the master boundary. So try to drag to upwards as like we are going to assign in like in the lumped port. So we should check the u vector and v vector. It should not be reversed. So here we have assigned the master boundary just by checking at the project manager under the boundary conditions. So like this, for the exactly opposite face of the same rectangular box, we should assign this slave for the master boundary. So I'm going in the same manner. I'm assign boundary and slave. So for this, name as a slave one, and for the master boundary, I'm taking master one because the on exact opposite face I'm taken only a master. So for the u vector, I'm selecting the u vector. So the direction of u vector as should be same as for the master boundary. So here we have constructed the master and slave. So here we can check out the master and slave boundary in the exact manner. In the other places also we should take like that as a master and the slave boundary. So here also same, assign boundary and master, new vector. So this is the master 2. On exact opposite face of the master 2, we should, but don't be get confused. On the exact face, I am giving the slave. So V vector. same as V. So up to here we have designed the master boundary and as well as the slave boundary. Now we have to give the excitation, I mean by using a Pluckett port, but so on the fifth phase I am selecting the boundary, and by going to the assign excitation Pluckett port, so we can obtain a direction and the B direction. By selecting the A direction, we should drag like this up to where we can get a triangular shape, and also select the B direction, another vector. So this is the so we have to get a defined. After getting the defined in both the quadrants, so if you want we can give the attenuation length and as well as a dimmed. So just I am giving a 5 mm as a dimmed. So up to here I have assigned the Pluckett port, but on exact opposite face of the Pluckett port 1 we should give the Pluckett port 2, but make sure that by giving the excitation for the Pluckett port we should give the same length as we have given in the Pluckett port 1 vector u and vector v, otherwise it may shows the error. Assign excitation Pluckett port, same vector a and vector b. So this is the designing of the metal surface antenna by using a Pluckett port. But in order to by after checking we can get a value exact validation. But if you are giving any length error, we can get an error. So afterwards, after designing the Pluckett port, we can go for the designing equations. In general, in order to design a metasurface or a metamaterial, in most of the research papers, they are not verifying the metamaterial property. That means permittivity and permeability graph of a designed antenna and as well as the refractive index of a designed antenna. But it is also one of the challenging tasks. So how we can giving the equations as in the PPT I have been show that these are the metamaterial equations. By inserting these equations into the HFSS software, we can draw the permittivity and permeability graphs. I will show you how to insert these equations. So by right click on the result, so by right click on the result, output variables. So here we can get these window like this. In the name vector, try to select Z effective 1 and copy here. So the name will be pasted here, and try to choose the expression which is from the PPT square root. So here, so like this, each and every expression should be inserted into the software. After inserting this software, we can get after inserting these softwares into this, we can get the equations like this. So if you doesn't make any mistake, then we can get in a blue color, otherwise it may affect in a red color. So after inserting all this, we can make it as a done, and we can analyze all. So here I have taken the frequency sweep is from 10 to 40 gigahertz. Due to the large frequency, it may take 3 to 4 hours. So in order, I am skipping this simulation part, and I'm going to show you the results of a designed antenna. So this is the design antenna. So for the fluctuate port, I have been verified this is the effective relative permittivity of a design graph of a designed antenna. Here I have got negative permittivity, which is of -2, which is under 10 gigahertz frequency. And whereas the red color shows the real part, and the brown this color line will be shows the imaginary part of a designed antenna. Whereas I have got the permeability also. So from this we can go directly as create model solution data report and go for the rectangle. There we can check output variables, and we can choose whatever we want, just like effective mode 1 imaginary part, and permeability imaginary part, new report. So we can get the negative permeability and permittivity, and as well as the refractive index. So if we design an antenna by verifying these properties, we can publish a paper in essay journal also very easily. Otherwise, they maybe get a resection of our papers. So same antenna have been designed in a lumped port. After verifying the metamaterial properties, I have designed by using a lumped port to get the bandwidth and the return loss of the design antenna. For this meta surface antenna, I have got -26 dB of return loss, and the bandwidth of the design antenna you are visible on the screen, which is from 42 gigahertz to 24 gigahertz, which is of 18 gigahertz of a bandwidth, which cannot be make it as impossible in the case of normal designing an antennas by using a EBG structure, or else VIVO, or else a DCS, defective ground structure, or else a DSS designing methodologies, which we cannot be make it as a possible. So here we have obtained 3 bands, which is the first band is ranging from 10.05 to 11.80, which is of the band with 700 megahertz. Whereas in the second band, we have obtained 20 gigahertz to 13 gigahertz, I mean 7 gigahertz of a bandwidth, whereas the third band is 18 gigahertz of a bandwidth. Here we have obtained a gain which is of 4 dB, as we have got initially. So here we are not decreasing the gain, and we are going to increasing the gain, which is absolutely thrice. And for this design antenna, we can check it the efficiency also. For this designing antenna, while we are checking the efficiency, we have got 82.2% of efficient radiation efficiency. Yes, we can extend this meta surface by using a MIMO or else array, which we can get a 40 gigahertz of a bandwidth also. So this is a main difference between the design antenna without meta surface and with meta surface. I will show you the comparison table for the design antenna. This is the comparison table. For this simple antenna, I have got -24 dB of gain, and whereas 1/4 MIMO antenna I have got -18 dB, and whereas 1/8 mushroom type of antenna -20 dB, for whereas the remaining mushroom type antenna 30 dB, whereas metal surface antenna have got -26 dB. Whereas the bandwidth has been gradually increasing from 10.22 to 18 gigahertz of a bandwidth, whereas I am maintaining the radiation efficiency as a constant. and also the electric field has been increased. And here one of the main important properties, metamaterial property verification and its validation also, but due to the lack of time we not fabricated. So this is the difference between the meta surface and without meta surface. Yes, we can say that the bandwidth or the radiation efficiency or the directivity, what are the properties does we have in the antenna, we can increase all these parameters by using a meta surface. Metamaterial and meta surface are both are same, with a slight difference between both of them. Whereas in the second antenna, we have taken as a from the base paper. In this paper, we have taken. I mean, here the main motto is we can increase the gain of a meta surface by using a MIMO also. Here we have taken a square type of a patch on etching on either sides as a by etching with a polyline. So I'm taking square type of a slots with a width of 2 by 2 mm by 2 mm, and I'm maintaining the gap in between the two strips should be 0.2 mm. So most of them are thinking about it is a EBG structure also. The main difference between the metamaterial and the EBG is the distance between the two slots should be less than lambda by 10. If it is the distance between less than lambda by 10, the design has to be I mean, the design should be obey the property of metamaterial. Otherwise, it may not obey the metamaterial property, and it will go for the EBG structure. Just I am using a designing a simple coaxial feeding for this design antenna. So the coaxial feeding here I am truncated on the both sides corners of the square patch, because in order to get the circular polarization, which is practically very important, by cutting the edges at the corners of a square patch, this design antenna we have got the results of 31 gigahertz to 27 gigahertz of a frequency range, which is of the range is 3.4 gigahertz. Whereas for this design, I have got the gain of 8.6 dB of gain, whereas the efficiency we have got is 98% of efficiency. Whereas the same antenna had been implemented by using a MIMO type of structure, which is shown on the screen. Just I have increased the patches by 2 by 2 array. For this design antenna, I have maintained the same bandwidth, which is of 3 gigahertz, and I have got increased bandwidth when compared to the single patch. I have got 9.5 dB of gain. So here we can check the eligible, I mean, the radiation of each and every patch by selecting the 4 patches and going to the plot fields and plot magnetic field. So here I have given, actually we are used to give 4 ports, but actually I have given input in 2 ports only, for port 1 and port 2. How to verify 4 ports by giving 1 port on and remaining 3 ports off, or by giving 2 ports on, 2 ports off. How we can give is go to field overlays, which is in the project manager, edit sources. There we can give the magnitude as value 1 or else 0. If the magnitude value given 1 is, it is on, and we can change the phase also, which is from 0 to 360 degrees. So here I am given port 1 and port 4, so that the patch is radiating, we can visible by animating the design. because I have given only two inputs from the two feedings, so that's why I have got a gain of 9.5 dB. Where if you can give four inputs at a time, we can get it maximum 12 dB of a gain for this designed antenna. So in the figure we can visualize the animation of a radiated electric field of a patch antenna. So we can check by giving the four inputs. I'm giving port 2 and port 3 magnitude 1 also. So it will take us time because it is a 4 port. Plot fields, magnetic field. Here we have given 4 inputs at a time. So this is the radiation of an electric field for the designed antenna. So here the gain has been increased from 9.5 dB to 12.4 dB. Means by this we have to verify each and every port, but some of the papers are examined only by giving port 1 and remaining ports are 0, so that they can't get a increased gain when compared to the single feed. So for this design antenna we have got the result is for the single input we have got the gain of 8.6 dB, whereas by giving the four inputs as a 2x2 MIMO we have got an increased gain of 12.4 dB, as we have already tried and we have got a bandwidth of 3.4 gigahertz, and for whereas for the 2x2 input we have got a less bandwidth when compared to the single input which is of 2.93 gigahertz. We can increase this bandwidth also, but due to the time constraint we doesn't focus on that. So these are the two designs which we have done in earlier, and we have tried for the another design also. Due to the time constraint we doesn't got a result. And thank you. Sir.
Thank you, Vinod. I think we are in conveyed the message what we want to. Means
Yes,
with
sir.
the help of this magic, you can say meta material, how the miracles can be done. But along with this, so many advantages. I think Punya madam switched on the camera, ma'am. Please, just I will take more 5 minutes. That's it. I will wind up the things on time. Don't
Thank you,
worry.
Dinesh sir. Thank you, Vinod
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Now,
Limitation.
please turn for the
Yeah.
participant.
Yeah. Just 5 minutes. I am winding up the things.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
From participants, any doubts?
No, no. One minute, ma'am. I'm winding up the things. Please wait. I will talk to participants also. Next is so many along with so many advantages. Some limitations are also there, or disadvantages of you can say mathematics are also there. It is difficult to manufacture material based antenna in large quantity if the audience is focusing. But again and again Mr. Vinod was talking, again and again he is talking meta surface. Actually this is one disadvantage of material. Actually material is 3D structure, so it's difficult to manufacture for an antenna. That also I will let you know. It works for limited range of wavelengths. It is not going to work for all wavelengths. The shape of the antenna cannot change during operation. This is also a limitation. Now my limitations are focusing on antenna, and they are lossy. This type last limitation we can overcome this by selecting some suitable geometry of that particular patch we can overcome that. Vinod, next. This is meta surface. Meta surface, as we just now we told, Vinod is talking about meta surface. Meta surface. It's a just like two-dimensional counterpart of your metamaterial. It is metamaterial is possible to characterize there, and we can go for permeability, and permeability also we can make it negative. This is meta surface. It's a, you can say, to better understanding, metamaterial is a three-dimensional, meta surface is a two-dimensional. Meta surfaces are extremely thin and much easier to fabricate than metamaterial. They have become one of the most promising research area in electromagnetic field. At conclusion, I'm a little bit fast. Conclusion is, you can say, before going to conclusion, you can see what is the logic behind this, what we are doing exactly. We are touching the geometry of that particular material, and we are working on distribution of that particular material or the particular particles in that particular material, so that we can control the motion, or combinedly we can say geometry and distribution is the core area, or control of geometry and distribution is the core area in metamaterial. Or with the help of this miracle part, we can create miracles. It's really, we can do surprises for in field of science and technology. And one more thing, why we are not able to reach up to that, because we are supposed to work at particle level or distribution level of that particular geometry, but we are approaching towards that, and you can say we are very near to touch. Then future, what is future? Future, you can say, with the help of this metamaterial, we can do so many things, but it will take some time. Definitely, it will take some time, because when iron was invented, we are not assuming that, or when steel was invented, we are not assuming we are going to use that particular steel in our kitchen. So metamaterial, we are approaching, but it may take 10 years, it may take 20 years, or it may take 50 years or 100 years also to make the things friendly, just like steel or iron. It will take so many centuries to be in the thing. We can't say the timeline, but we are working. So many researchers are working in the field of metamaterial by taking different applications. Just now we showed you a small application of use of metamaterial in antenna design, and there are so many applications, or you can say there are so many division of metamaterials. It may be mechanical, it may be electromagnetic, it may be acoustic, it may be mixed or hybrid. So many things are there, but because of time constraint, we can't go for that one. If I will start all those stories again, it will take nearly 1.5 hours. So I will rest my things here. Thank you, all of you. Vinod, something is left. Vinod, next slide, please.
Reference.
Yes, reference. Leave the references. All these are the references. Please go next. Yeah. From my side, I might rest my presentation. If you have any doubt, you are welcome.
The participants is asking, one of the participants is asking, what are AMC structures? AMC structure. It is there in the chat box.
Okay, in chat box it is there.
And one of the participants is asking,
One is asking, does the metamaterial improves only the antenna radiation property? It also have been miniaturization of the antenna. Yes, it's helped the radiation, as we discussed just now. I think in structure they showed in